a test.
Yeah, I feel like there's just like a lot of cool.
We're trying to see who sticks with us.
Yeah. You gotta believe in your team. You gotta believe.
I wasn't going for that, but
Yeah.
If you can't handle me at my 0-3 to Furia, you don't deserve me at
0-8, thank you very much.
something.
Hello and welcome back to The Dive, driven by Kia, Season 10, Episode number 8. We've been blessed with a visit from former Dive host and
the head honcho,
who has fallen from grace all the way down to the lowly position of commissioner of the
It
entire
sucks,
LCS.
man. Can you guys take me back? I miss it.
You know what?
They always come crawling back.
Yeah. As soon as it's been too long, I try. Can I come on the dive again, guys?
You got a sniff. He was like, "Oh, Mito's got another job. Like, you guys need another host?" No, bro, we don't. We're keeping.
He's gonna
Mitos
get really
anyways.
busy. He's gonna get really. I can do both. No, I wanted to come on after the America's Cup, talk about it with everyone, as it was quite a wild ride, I would say, in a lot of ways.
I didn't like that wild.
I didn't like that.
Maybe too wild for some.
I would say it was pretty wild. I don't know if I liked how wild it got.
Yeah,
We got smacked, Mark.
I threw up on that ride.
That was the worst we've ever done.
After the 3-0 finals or the first 3-0? Or the
No, it was at the end because I still kept on betting. I don't know if you were watching the
Oh,
whole
yeah,
time.
you kept doubling down.
But I was like, all right, now we're going to 3-0. Now we're going to win for sure.
When we got rid of Kangas and we were up 5K in the third game of the finals, I was like, this is the winning combo. Don't let Kangas back on the cast. He was the bad luck.
And then we lost that one too.
That was, oh, my
I
God.
could not believe that one because we were so far ahead. I was like, oh, man, it's all good. And then I turned to Isaiah and I was like, see, they can't even throw at this dragon because they're not coming to contest.
Yeah.
And then the next dragon.
This one they can throw.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
I didn't like how their Ari was 0-3-0, and then he was just still looked like he was winning the lane. I was like, wait, that's not normally how it's supposed to look. So
Yeah.
you know what? Not our tournament. So jet lagged.
You're wearing the perfect Cloud9 attire as well for this.
It's all I own. It's all I own.
We gotta get you new stuff, man. Especially after that showing, maybe.
Mark,
Yeah, I'm not opposed.
tell us our learnings from this, though. You know,
Well,
what's,
so
what's the
before
big bright
I
side?
try and bright side, I do want to give you guys the space to commiserate.
We already
as fans.
I mean-
I don't know if you need to go over the whole tournament or how much you want to talk about the day one. There's like a little bit of hope with Sentinel.
Well, I mean, I feel like I don't know how you view it, but to me, Sentinels played more similar to how I kind of expected them to, and Cloud9 kind of continued their nosedive, unfortunately. I would say it was. I was surprised, not in that Brazil could be competitive or anything, but the team that everyone was hyping up to me was Red Cannons. Everyone was telling me Red Cannons was going to win CBLOL, and it wasn't going to be loud. Red is like the goated team, and so when they didn't actually win CBLOL, I was like, oh, we gotta really watch out for Red, right? And then we beat Red, and we're like, yeah, okay. And then our other team bets for Red is and then we just got smacked by Furia every single game, and it was tough. I mean, I enjoy the competition of it, right? Like it's fun just seeing like, kind of like mini international, whatever you want to call it. I know it's not as serious as MSI and First Stand and Worlds and all of this sort of stuff, but it's still fun. And I did enjoy the interregional competition a bit last year during LTA. Like I do think that was the good part of LTA, right? Was getting to actually see some of the interregional competition, especially as Brazil's been doing better. Pushed G2 to 5 games at MSI and took some series and stuff now against us. So obviously they are getting better. So that part is kind of fun. But it was depressing to watch our teams not even win a single game, especially the way in which they did. It was definitely a generational flop from Cloud9. I think it's the worst Cloud9 has ever done at any roster. Like to me,
I mean, I would think it's
not even close.
Maybe the worst NA has done because we're no strangers to getting rolled internationally, but by Brazil, a tournament we don't invite the Asian teams to the tournament so we can win something and it would still get rolled. Like what?
I mean, you would put maybe the 100 Thieves match from play-ins at Worlds where they lost that series.
I thought you were going to say the 100 Thieves 0-6 or whatever.
No.
Because I was like, that was still in against. Because some people were arguing like the TSM 0-6. I'm like, come on, we're playing LCK LPL. It's not the same.
Meteos, you weren't on the C9 that had the 5-game series versus Gambit way back in
No,
year
that wasn't me.
That was like another close call of it, but no, this definitely felt.
Please won some games, even
But
if they lost a series.
even
they
with the
won
close
some
call,
games.
C9 had. I remember looking at the stats for that in the past because people were like, oh yeah, C9 almost lost. They had like an 80% win rate in play-ins across the years and stuff. So still, this was crazy. It wasn't even that we lost. It was that we got smacked and we weren't even close.
Yeah, and it, like you're saying, it's like it matters what it looks like while we're losing, and it just looked like so many bad plays from us.
Yeah.
You know, like unforced errors and stuff. I did have a lot of fun still with some moments, like I the replay thing where we're doing the casting and then we're analysts also, and so we just go to the computer, and then Kangas is like, "All right, what are you gonna show me?" And I was like, "Well, let's click on something and find something because there's a lot of stuff that went wrong." And the first thing I found was like before a replay that they had shown, but it was before it, and it showed how Tatu was even even smarter than what broadcast had shown. With one of the ways that he avoided a gank and like uses flash and fog of war and stuff. And so there were a lot of cool moments. It was really fun, and especially to appreciate some really good plays from Brazil, because Brazil undoubtedly massive improvements from them over the last couple of years. I think that's the most fun and cool part about this tournament. Probably the only fun and cool part, because everything else was super sad for us. But it is still really cool to recognize that, and more competition, is always nice. I think Tatu is going to be a great jungler that will push any of our junglers. So that sort of thing is cool. And there were fun moments, but it just kind of overarching conversation for it, of course, is like, holy
Super
hell.
duper.
Yeah.
Are we all super bad now? I saw people like starting to already pre-doubt Lyon and be like, oh yeah, and Lyon's gonna get their asses beat by Loud too. And I was like, whoa.
I think
don't connect those dots. I don't think I'm obviously, I made a lot of bets, but I would be willing to bet like very seriously that Lyon does not lose to Loud. And kind of defends our honor and redeems the region and everything. So I guess
multiple things can be true, right? CB Law can have gotten better, which is absolutely true. And it can also be a generational choke job from Cloud9, which is also true. So, it can be a little column A, a little column B. Like, but those were some crazy unforced errors.
Oh yeah, it was. So I think, okay, here's my theory. It's kind of cope, but it's also, it doesn't defend it a whole lot, but I feel like Lyon had a really good meta read coming into playoffs where they were, playing around topside and whatnot. And I think that super caught all the other teams off guard in, their finals run. And I think that every other team, in attempting to sort of like follow Lyon's lead, sometimes when you're trying something new, going from just, hey, let's just pick tanks top and permaplay bottom kind of deal. When you try to do a new style or whatnot, sometimes it gets worse before it gets better, because you've got to figure out all the different things that can go wrong. And I mean, in Cloud9's defense, they found out a lot of things that can go wrong.
They're finding new ways. Initially, I was hoping to blame the jet lag, because we knew it was going to be a really quick turnaround time between finals weekend and into this tournament, and it was like the only place it could realistically fit heading into First Stand and stuff. So it was like, either you do it tired or you don't do it at all. And I think we were all kind of in the vibe like, let's do it. So the first day I was like, okay, C9's tired. Sentinels wins their matchup versus Red, but it's like, a little sketchy, and then they lose to Fury. I'm like, okay, they're just like waking up. But by Saturday and Sunday, it was clearly.
You never woke up from the nightmare.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is not jet lag at this point. APA said he was sick maybe, or someone else was sick.
I heard a couple of players were sick, and Impact was wearing a mask. I heard a few players were sick.
So I doubt that they were like performing their best, but I think
I heard the sun was actually directly in their eyes.
8-0 is not like pure, oh no, I'm jet lag. That is like far too much of a gap to blame like the smaller thing. So it was tough.
Yeah, I mean, Fury just played really, really well, right? Yeah. You can give them credit for it. I mean, there was a lot of games that actually were close where, like, especially the Sentinels, game 1, game 2, in the best of 5, they easily could have won. And I think if you replay those situations, like, from the game state, they actually should have won a number of times. But Fury was always the one kind of, outplaying in those big moments, and the NA players were kind of flopping. I mean, game 1, game 2, Dark Wings was full items with flash, and both times died without flashing a CC and dying 100-0. But there was lots of things. Sven, also to your meta point, I don't know if you saw his interview, but he was talking about basically that exact thing, where he gave an interview where he was talking about how they started losing a lot of their scrims a while ago, but they were still winning all their games on stage. So they were kind of like, well, it's still working, so we should keep doing it. And so they kept just kind of trying to force what had been working on stage, even though they were losing all their scrims. And he said he felt like as a result, they ended up kind of like really getting behind the meta and didn't actually adapt. So once they started losing, they hadn't had any practice on kind of what everyone else had moved on to.
Yeah. Definitely, I saw a lot of the doomer takes in the fallout of Sunday. But I did feel like it laid a nice bedwork for positivity in the future. And that's why I'm here to the bright side that I was bringing.
A rock bottom network.
Please tell us.
You have to have like, you like burn the rainforest down to have like good fertile.
I have a positive
ground.
take too.
Yeah, you go first then before
Okay.
I bright side.
Okay, so it's maybe not as positive, but people are super over exaggerating how much this means. So it is. I'm
We
serious.
didn't even care.
No,
No, it doesn't matter. Literally doesn't matter.
it's like
Practice.
people are talking about one event where Fury admittedly completely whooped our butts. There's no denying that they were by far the best team at this event. They smacked us, right? The overall score at this event was 10-5, right? They beat it. They completely beat us, but we were on a streak of 14-4 against EU. We literally had a better record against EU on this run than they had here. And people were not saying EU is completely dead, NA is 1,000 times better. So to me, it's like, yes, it was a really bad result. Yes, Fury completely kicked our butts. Yes, they were by far the best team in that event, but it doesn't guarantee that is going to be the result in the future. It's like we were on this 14-4 run against EU, and then we got smacked by G2 at Worlds this last year, right? Like it can turn around and it can come around. So I don't know. I just think one event that is not the most important, the most serious events, not saying it wasn't a cool event, but it's not Worlds. To me, it does not stress me out. If Brazil smacks us at First Stand and at MSI and at Worlds, then I'm going to be a lot more sad. But there's a lot of league left to be played. We 8-1'd them at the start of last year across 4 different teams. And I don't know, it didn't indicate that was going to be everything that happens at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, Split 3 was totally different than Split 1 that same year, so who knows where it goes from here. And that was one of the positives for me was like, okay, C9 crashed and burned, but like, I'm glad this team is getting stress tested now in a lot of ways than like if they made MSI as the second seed or like they get a month off, they come into Split 1, they're still, or Split 2, excuse me, in spring, they're probably better than most of the other LCS teams and they qualify. Like, I think this is like either you blow up and things have to change or you're going to like be more resilient when the later competitions come. So that was like
they didn't 0-8 at MSI.
To your point about like which tournament are they combusting at? Like,
Stand rather.
I'd rather them combust at the America's Cup than MSI or Worlds.
Cloud9 have a history of combusting a lot already in the past.
Why are you pointing at him?
Yeah,
why are you pointing at
like
him?
when Media's teams didn't combust.
Now when I was
He wasn't a combustor.
I thought you were pointing at me. Yeah, just for some reason things combust. I don't know why, but this.
Yeah, they have a history of combustion. They have a
just joke all the time. I don't know. Yeah, it's. I mean, I think I would even said it on an earlier episode of the dive, but you know, when C9 was doing really well, I was sitting here being like, you know, it's early in the year. They always do well early in the year, but are they still going to be doing well at Worlds? And their crash out came way earlier than expected. So yeah, you know, maybe there's a rebound angle, or maybe it just keeps going. Who knows? But it does help your team. I think it is kind of like burn down the forest to grow new trees or whatever. I don't know. Trees take a really long time to grow, so Worlds isn't that far away.
Yeah, I mean, they at least have Split 2 to like a longer regular season, 7 weeks to like iron it down. And
My theory on the cast during the end where I was really trying to cope was like, this is what works for Super Saiyans, you know, in Dragon Ball. If it doesn't kill you, it's just going to make you way stronger.
As long as they're not dead.
Yeah, you get beat up a whole bunch.
Inch of your life, though.
Then like you get really beat up, and then they're going to be way more.
All right, what else is good about us?
All right, so there's maybe C9 will bounce back.
Yeah.
Who knows, whatever.
Okay.
I think like on a more macroscopic level, I think like this is actually really cool for the scene overall to have more rivalries and like more reasons to care. Because while it was embarrassing, like you guys talking about Loud versus Lyon being, I think, way more compelling now.
I actually really care about it now.
We
must win, Mark.
Yeah, of course I wanted.
We will. Don't worry.
I wanted NA to win anyways at International and beat everyone, of course. But there's like a personal reason now where like the honor is on the line more so than ever before. And
We'll bring shame to our family.
We can't beat the worst region.
Yeah, so that matters a lot. I remember like at the start of LTA, people were like, there's no rivalry here. There's no reason to care. This feels brute forced or whatever. It's like, I feel like there's a rivalry now.
Cloud9.
Yeah.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Second, how much did you pay them, Mark?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, Furia also challenged G2
Mark's
in 5
like,
games.
LTA's back also.
No, not that. But just like we've had a rivalry with Europe for a long time. It's cool that there's other teams in the world that were having reasons. Like, if I ever see Furia, at internationals, like, I want us to beat them so bad now. Like, whether it's C9 or whoever, Sentinel's getting justice in the future, or Team Liquid if they bounce back. Like, I feel like there's more stakes just in any international competition that involves Brazil versus NA because of, like, well, the egg's on our face right now. And I even think in Split 3, it was closer than people would have thought. So there's, like, I feel like a desire to, like, watch your team do better and have more games that you care about than just, like, us versus G2 or LCK or whatever.
I mean, North American fans have been dreaming of international rivalry for 10 years, but we were dreaming it was going to be with LPL or LCK. So I don't know about your, like, monkey paw curling,
reasons
curse
to care.
genie mark or whatever.
It's the ladder. You got to climb the ladder. Brazil's currently the rung that we're on.
Yeah, exactly. We're, like, going down.
No, Brazil's
back
joined
up.
us. Brazil's joined us on the rung. That's what happened. Yeah.
No, yeah, they are better. They are better.
But I do think it is cool, and, like, I would love to in the future. Who knows? I'm not saying America's Cup is 100% happening next year or not, but, like, if there's, like, LEC teams next time, or if it can grow more, like, I think LEC dodged a bullet. I saw Busio was co-streaming with, like, Basil and trash talking NA, and it's like, hey man, you're lucky KC wasn't in this tournament because y'all would have got ran by Furia too. So that's my hot take that that LEC just dodged a bullet, not participating in this.
Why don't you fund a show match between Furia and some LEC teams? Huh?
Yeah, we'll fly him down to Brazil.
Make that the prize.
That can be their boot camp.
Yeah. We'll bring
that the
Furia
prize.
down. Yeah.
Let's watch them.
Yeah. That was one thing, and then I also think just like. In general, this is the kind of thing that there was a conversation from the fan angle too about, like, I'm jealous of what CBLOL has. Like, there was just a lot of conversations that sprung up in the wake of this, and they were talking about fans, teams, players, who needs to do a better job to get more, like, interest and stuff. And I think at the end of the day, it starts and ends with Riot and putting forward a good product that gives fans reasons to cheer and tune in.
It's us.
It's at the end of the day, it is our job to create the platform that people are interested in. But I do think it's interesting to, like, the way Tatu is popping off and you just, like, connect with him. Like, damn, that guy cares so much. Like, you can feel that. The fans are absolutely crazy, and, like, people were talking about, like. And it was funny watching the fans, like, even turn on each other, being like, well, NA fans are fair weather fans, and they're like, Brazilian fans had been doing terrible internationally for so long.
They've had horrible weather for a decade.
Yeah, and now they're finally, like, they're popping off now, but for 10 years that community was growing despite not having international success. So, like, I think to that point, like, again, it feels bad right now, but hopefully this is, like, the times that you get through, so that way, like, when you hopefully C9 recovers and they're doing well again, you're like, damn, we bounced back from that. So, like,
training arc.
Yeah.
This is a test.
Yeah, I feel like there's just, like, a lot of cool.
We're trying to see who sticks with us.
Yeah. You gotta believe in your team. You gotta
I wasn't going for that, but
yeah.
If you can't handle me at my 0-3 to Furia, you don't deserve me at my
0-8. Thank you very much.
You don't have me at 3-1 KT the 2018 or whatever.
Maybe
when they made semis. Yeah, you don't deserve them at semis at Worlds if you don't enjoy them at 0-3 at America's Cup for C9 fans.
Yep.
Yeah. That was the
a
angle
true
there.
test. Get out of your fair weather fans.
No, I'm not saying fair weather fans, but I think it's just, like, it gives I hope that people see this as, like, something to cheer from, like, coming back from the bottom. Not like C9's an underdog story, but, just, like, I think that there are these sorts of things that give more interest to the scene as a whole, to have these extra angles going on. So that was my bright side to it. It sucks to be a fan and watch that happen, but, like, I don't know. I want to see
All good. We're just practicing. All good.
how APA bounces
Lots
back.
of practice.
Blabber,
We're learning.
Sven, all of them bounce back, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's definitely some bright sides. I the thing that resonates most is I care a lot about Loud versus Lyon at First Stand.
That
That will be determining my happiness for the rest of the event.
Split 2, Azael still casting. Oh my god, dude! I gotta say, it's
Just getting flashbacks.
The caster cams. I don't know how you guys felt about being on the, like, screen the whole time.
It was
but
our suggestion.
yeah, okay, because it was so funny watching Azael's eyes glaze over doing the play-by-play as, like, the throw behind Baron Pit happened.
Smacked.
Yeah, the game 3 throw behind Baron Pit. Just the light leaving your eyes.
Dude, that was so rough to watch. It felt like
That's my secret. It's always
it felt like
Yeah.
C9 didn't know what Zahin did. It's like, Vulcan, why are you sprinting into this guy and letting him get 12 stacks before the fight starts? Like, I was actually screaming watching that. It was so rough.
Yeah.
Tough.
It was. All right. Well, you know what? Let's move on because let's move on. We're going to have LCS coming back and they're going to be way stronger, like super duper Saiyans.
Oh, hell yeah.
Super duper duper Saiyans. And you've got some information for us for spring to get everybody back on track, Mark.
Yeah, you get to watch Cloud9 bounce back opening weekend, April 4th. They're going to be
I liked promoting that as they were doing.
Every break we're like, and we're coming back, baby.
Yeah. Hey guys,
You like what you're seeing?
will C9 get it together? Tune in to find out as they retake on Lyon. For
we got a cliffhanger now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, we put out the schedule of games. I think tickets are out right now. And so people can go and look at the schedule already for Split 2, even though, First Stand still on the way. Trying to do a better job about getting information out to fans as soon as we can. So
You just don't want to get bullied by APA's mom.
yeah, APA's mom always corners me at any finals event, shakes me down for information. No, every time I see her, we actually have a joke about it. But we are trying to get that stuff out there more often. So we have.
Good.
April Fool's weekend for the opening weekend for the tailgate, and then we are out of LA officially for our spring finals. Not able to share venue information and tickets and stuff quite yet, but we do want to get that information as soon as we have it. But just we want to at least commit, given that people can see that we will be using the face-off stage a lot. It's for this end goal of being able to get out of LA. Cool. So that's one of the big things that's important for people.
More road shows. Every time we go to any road shows, the fans are always super excited.
Yeah.
Coming up, talking about I've been watching for 10 years and this is the first live event and I love the dive and all that stuff. So that's always really good.
The vibes are actually crazy good too at our finals weekend too. It was some of the best vibes that have been here in a long time. I'm not sure what it was, but the crowd was so good because we have lots of the themed weekends where it's it sells out, it's full and it's good energy. But I don't know, it was just really different that day. All the casters were kind of talking about it, how the crowd was just reacting to everything, and it was really, really fun. So it definitely can be a great atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean it's a couple months in, but LCS is back, baby. The theme of the year, so it's gonna keep going.
There you go. What else you got for us, Mark?
I don't know. That's about it. I'm gonna be in Brazil for First Stand, and I swear to God, if they don't win, Lyons staying in Brazil. We're just going to cancel their tickets.
If they lose, we're going to have you go up against the CB commissioner.
Me and Igor will have to have a 1v1.
You're going to have to have a one-on-one.
You must be truly desperate to turn them.
What do we look at? What we
are, Mark. If we've lost that one, we are.
Yeah, I had to play my first ARAMs in a long time last night. Yeah. It didn't go well. 0
I invited him. Didn't accept.
Oh, yeah. You did.
And then he messages and he's like, yo, I'm coming on the dive.
Cool.
What? You're not even going to play games?
Yeah.
I had to...
way to work on the synergy, Mark.
I was patching the client, and I went to the bathroom, and he didn't wait. He invited me, waited 2 minutes, and then was in Champ Select by the time I got back.
We used to be friends with him. Now it's just all business.
I have a kid. I got 2 minutes is like half of my gaming time,
We were going to watch Survivor together, and then we haven't done that.
Go.
Well, oops, my bad.
But yeah, no, thanks for coming on. I guess that's all you got, and we will see you in Brazil. We're going to head to... you guys something else?
No, I was going to say bye.
Cool. Well, goodbye. We're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll be
still intact, baby.
We'll be right back
Clean
to talk about First Stand.
Right now. Stop talking.
First Stand. It's coming up. We're going to preview the teams.
Dude, this lobby is kind of comfy. It feels different.
If this is different, I like different. I'm staying right here.
Are you guys serious? We're about to get into game.
Emily, let us enjoy it.
You guys need to lock in. Maybe this'll help.
Oh, no, not already.
Welcome back to The Dive, driven by Kia. It is time to talk about First Stand.
The mark is gone. Thank God.
Yeah. Oof.
Thought he'd never leave.
Really overstayed his welcome on that one. That was getting kind of awkward. So First Stand coming up. The groups have been drawn. The brackets have been drawn. So if you don't know the system, basically we can explain it pretty quickly. There's 8 teams. They're actually split into 2 groups, and it is double elimination best of 5 bracket. So the groups are as follows. Group A is BLG, BFX, G2, and Team Secret Wales. And then Group B is GenG, JDG, Lyon, and Loud. And then the first matchup for us is going to be Lyon versus Loud. Do you want to start with Group A or Group B?
I mean, let's just start with Lyon versus Loud since you set it up and we're coming hot off of talking about America's Cup.
Thoughts, some embarrassment.
Also, like, a lot of these days are going to be double best of fives, and so the schedule is very packed.
It's almost all of them, isn't it?
What?
Almost all the days are going to be double best
Yeah,
of five. It's like the last one.
It's 6 days in a row of double best of 5.
Ooh, that is some League of Legends.
Oh,
Yeah, and as I was gonna say, there's no off days. So schedule's gonna be packed. So if you're in there, then there is a ton of League of Legends to enjoy. But let's go matchup by matchup here, because we're starting off with our newly meaningful and heated up rivalry, Loud versus Lyon. I was already talking about, I think Lyon is going to defend our honor and hit back here. I truly do believe that. I think that they are pretty like disconnected from the Cloud9 downfall and are going to have an easy time with their.
I wouldn't say they're disconnected because they were the beginning of the Cloud9
I guess
downfall.
They're the origin point.
Yeah, they are the origin story of the Cloud9 downfall. I mean, they smacked them. So
I do think that they have a good way of approaching this though, and especially for Loud. For Loud, for me, I don't know about you, but in my prep for Loud, I think their top laner Shino is their best player. Like, this guy is insane, and he is. I mean, he played some like sub games, but this is his first time as a starter. So he's basically a rookie, and I like his origin story so much because he has mega aura and mega confidence, and he was an AD carry, and he was like, top laners in Brazil, they're not very good. I'm pretty sure I could role swap and be the best top laner. And then he did. And I think he is the best top laner. And
yeah, he is.
He's like, his lane phase has looked really good to me. Playing side lanes, like keeping up pressure. He had good timers. So I think that Lyon showing already like their flexibility where they used big dokes on carries and range champs, and they're willing to do all these flex picks and move stuff around for top lane and utilize draft that way. They don't necessarily have to do some risky carry top lane picks or anything. Doka obviously played, completely normal stuff as well. But I think that flexibility and already showing that they're, they've got ways to attack top lane carries and good top laners and stuff like that. Bodes quite well. I think Inspired is a lot better than Young Jay.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing about Loud is, if you didn't know kind of the general CBLOL expectations, everyone thought Red was going to win, right?
Yeah.
And then 48 hours before their upper bracket final, there was some drama. My understanding was that their mid laner Mago even went on a stream, was talking about this stuff. And so they were already apparently going to replace him at the end of the split, but they basically had to replace him mid playoffs, 48 hours before the upper bracket finals, and they brought in Envy, and it's like, okay, well, now you're super cooked, right? Like, Red was already expected to win. Now you have no chance, and they end up, he ends up performing really, really well, and they end up going on this run and winning CBLOL, right? And so it is pretty crazy. I do think I fully agree. Shino is super, super good. And I don't know if you mentioned it or if I missed it, but like, he's also a rookie. So it's kind of insane. Like, he came in, he's replacing Robo, who is like arguably the most kind of famous or storied, one of the most famous players in CBLOL history. So it was a really big shoes to fill. And he was able to do a super good job. It has been, I think, the clear best top laner in CBLOL, which is really, really cool. And the team in general, like, had a lot of changes. Route is gone. Bull came in, who was, he was in some of the lower rated LCK teams and stuff.
Yeah.
And
I like his story too, by the way. If you want to tell, because a lot of these have like good social stories behind them. The Bull one is pretty funny because he was like not the best performing, AD carry in the league for the normal split. But then he, going to the playoffs and stuff, he was like trash talking Brazilian AD carries in general. And he's like, yeah, the Brazilian AD carries aren't that good. And then all the Brazilian fans were like, what in the heck?
He's going to get his butt beat.
Yeah. And then they actually ended up winning. So I don't know. I think it's, there's a lot of cool kind of social stories behind this team too.
Yeah. There was the whole Redbert thing too, where there was like trash talk going on with Redbert. And I think it was the Red Candidate support. I'm spacing out on the name on Red Canids support.
Yeah, but you're talking about when he went to bring all his like medals and trophies and stuff.
The guy told him basically like, yeah, like your career is over, like you're gonna have to retire kind of thing. And then they beat them in the finals, and then he goes to the side of the stage, and like when you win CBLOL, you get a medal. And so he had his 4 or 5 medals or whatever he has. He just brings them over to show the guy after he beats his butt in the finals. So pretty funny. There's a lot of cool stories with them, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a super like top lane is their real strength, right? GenG is also another Korean import from LCKCL. He was on KT Challengers, and that is kind of their focus is more topside. Bull and Redbird, I think, are kind of seen as more like, oh, they're reliable, kind of consistent, whatever, but not like the big focus. So I think they are a pretty topside focused team. But I feel like Lyon should match up well into that. And, the question I think is like for Shino, can he take that level of dominance that he had in the CBLOL and take that international, right? Because I do think, as the origin story says, he thought the CBLOL top laners were very weak, so he swapped that role immediately as best top laner.
How long ago was that?
I don't know. So this is something that I had heard as well, but when I was told it was like an unverified story. Is that's what I was told, is that there was this this thing that's like story that's going around, but there's not like a quote in an interview or anything to point to.
Yeah,
that really stands out to me because I feel like you never hear about that. An AD carry who role swaps to top. Normally, I think when people role swap, it'll be
to support
a laner becomes a jungler or somebody becomes a support or whatever. But going from AD to top that's an interesting one, and because the playstyles are so different, they're like night and day different. AD carries the resource guy, the scaling guy, and then top lane is it's like of just constant struggle for lack of a better way to put it. But that should be really cool, and I'm curious how Lyon's going to do up against another topside focused team, because I think Lyon, their topside focus worked really well in our playoffs, but I think that's because the other teams weren't really ready for it. So going up against another team who plays that way could be pretty interesting.
Yeah, so one of the things I was going to mention is that inspired, I can't remember if it was an interview or if it was on the last episode of Pros. I think it was the Pros podcast, but he was talking about Berserker's strengths and weaknesses. And he thought that one of the strengths that he thought was like improperly utilized on when Berserker was on Cloud9 was that Berserker is always going to be in a good state out of lane phase and is like really good there, so much so that the jungler doesn't have to pay attention to bot lane and can like go to take care of the rest of the map, and bot lane's always going to be in a good state, he said. And so I feel like that is just perfect for this scenario, because he can be like, yeah, Berserker, you and Isles, you're going to be fine. I have confidence in you to just win bot lane by yourselves, and I'm going to handle the rest of the map. So yeah, that was definitely one of the reasons I think it's a good matchup for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to say why we should lose. You just look at the Swiss stage and how Lyon played there, right? Where it was like Doka was really underperforming, Saint was looking like maybe the worst mid laner in the league. But then you look at playoffs and it's really easy to say why, we should win. Like, is that the Lyon we're going to get? Because they looked really consistent. And I think one of their biggest strengths, I know a lot of people are memeing about this, one of their biggest strengths is just that they are all, like, this is clearly Inspired's team, right? And everyone is on the same page. They're just following what Inspired says. So they are of one mind. They seem to be really kind of locked in on that. And I do think it makes it very clear that they know how they want to play the game. Everyone is working well together, and that's something that I think really did stand out for me. With watching Inspired, but obviously we can't underestimate Loud. I do feel like watching back some of their games, I feel like their macro is not on the same level as Lyon, but I felt like that about some of the other teams too, to be honest. So it's like their league, when you're watching it, is often very chaotic, but Furia played macro game well, and they did last year internationally too. So it's, to me, it's just so much about like how Shino goes into international and how he performs. If Doka can lock him down, I think we're gonna win.
I thought as soon as you said, "Oh yeah, it's really easy to say we're gonna lose," I thought you were gonna say you just have to look at America's Cup, and then you're like, you just have to look at them.
That was our second seed. There's a reason we didn't send them to First Stand.
We smacked their second seed. It was just their third seed that was the problem. So it's the reverse, So first seed's gonna be even easier.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Tatu is also better than
Young
so,
for sure.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be good. I'm excited for it. That is going to be obviously our first matchup. It's going to be really hard to get out of groups. I will say I'm really sad about the format because it is very unlikely we get to play against the PCS or EU. Those are the teams that are most similar to our level, right? Is PCS and LEC, and for us to be able to have any chance of playing them, someone from there has to be a major upset because basically LEC would have to get first in their group, we'd have to get second in our group, or we'd have to get first in our group, they'd have to get second. Even if you both beat an LPL and LCK team, you beat the number 2 team, which is, kind of more achievable often, then you'd both be number 2 and you'd still just play the opposite group's number 1, so you wouldn't even play each other. And once it's out of groups, it's single limb best of 5, it's no longer double limb. So there's almost no chance, given some crazy upsets that we're going to play. But you never know. I mean, last year, First Stand, obviously, top completely crashed and burned. But there was only one LPL and LCK seed that time. And this time there are 2. So it's going to be a tough path. But we can talk about the other game in Group B. The other teams in our group, GenG and JDG. So we're probably not getting first in the group because GenG exists and it's not Worlds.
Inspired's been close to beating them before.
Yeah. It's not Worlds, buddy. GenG's winning the tournament. Just accept it. We're all playing for second here, okay? And JDG, unfortunately, have the honor of being the first team of playing GenG.
Yeah, and the JDG team is super hyped too because they reconstructed basically
PCS squad,
and there was all this hype about, oh my God, no teams are returning to First Stand this year that attended the original First Stand, but Jinja and Honkyu were picked up as a package, and they obviously did really well last year at First Stand. And both of them have been doing a lot better in playoffs too for JG in the LPL. And so that's a really cool story. And then of course it's first international tournament for Xiaoshu and for Vampire. So that's really, really cool for them too, because they've been working towards it. And it's like, oh, congratulations though, your first international tournament. You're starting in a best of 5 versus GenG. Mm-hmm. Honestly, a lot of people kind of like that sometimes though, because it's like, great, we get to go against the best, basically, and you get to get that really good experience. Mm-hmm. It's been a kind of a trend for First Stand that I think has been really fun, is a lot of top laners, at least, have started, I want to play versus King because I'm going to dunk on him, and, that type of thing. So, everybody having confidence and wanting to challenge the best. And
yeah, I mean, until you've lost to them, you don't know what it's like. So I like that, go in with confidence. I will say, for me, I haven't kept up with LPL too much this year. So, sell me on this team. What do they have to do to win?
I think they play really well as in mid game, and their team fights are really good. I think they play really well as a team, especially if they can get Jinja a good start. And he's had a lot better starts in playoffs than he had when he first returned to the LPL. And so I think if they can keep on that momentum, and then Gala definitely, as you know, can carry some good team fights. He can also throw sometimes when he has a really big lead. But
I feel like Honky does that more on this team. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, a couple people have done it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a really exciting team. They some of their players have had some cool journeys. Shout out to all the LPL English casters. Was obviously prepping watching their VODs, and I talked to Alk, and he was kind of giving me the down low on some of the player stories. But I mean, Xiaoshu was from Rare Atom, which was not a very good team in the LPL, and got a spot on JDG after Ale and CV Max left. And he was basically the best part of the team last year. And so they kind of kept him around, built around him. Junja obviously was completely running the PCS, had just dominated that region, was winning every single time. Honkyu, I'm sure you saw him internationally last year. Was really performing well internationally, and they were part of the team that was pushing LCK and pushing LPL internationally. So they came over. I do think they are mechanically super, super talented. Vampire is a guy who, again, was considered really low tier, but I think has really kind of risen up. like when he was on IG, people were talking about him as like the worst player in the league, and has like steadily improved to
Not
a
a
point.
good reputation to have.
No, but he steadily improved to the point where, last year on WE, he was doing really well. They beat TES in a best of 5, and he was kind of getting a lot of credit as that bot lane. So I think the team is strong individually. I think Hongq mechanically is really, really, really good. Xiaoshu, I think, is super impressive, even though they lost in the finals. I think this guy is super good. I think that they do have the potential, but I think anyone going up against GenG, you kind of like have to roll that 10, right? Like you have to be at the very top of your game, and GenG kind of has to underperform for almost anyone, I think, to have a real chance. To me, some of their weaknesses, I did think, was it felt like there was like a lack of thought about what they were doing. Like they were just kind of doing stuff sometimes. Like with Hongq, this guy's so good mechanically, and I think sometimes he just thinks more about like if he can do it than if he should do it. And like he's just taking these fights where he's like 1v2ing and it's looking really good, and he gets away, and then he just like goes back in and kills himself, and kind of some of these moments where I do think they can fall a bit short. But I think overall they are a really strong team, and like they're the clear favorite to get out in second in this group. But GenG is a different beast. I mean, this team has been completely dominating. Once again, I mean, they pretty much run the LCK like period for a lot of years now. They're one of only 2 teams. The 2 teams that actually qualified for this were the 2 teams that didn't make any roster changes in the LCK. So GenG didn't change at all. They're actually the oldest team going to First Stand now, which feels funny to say about those players, but they are. Like they have a ton of experience. They are massive favorites. They're coming off of like completely dominating the LCK. And when I was watching GenG, I feel like one of the only things you could say is sometimes when they would make mistakes, it just felt like they were underestimating the other team a little bit. Like someone would get picked off before a fight, and then they're just like, yeah, we could just fight this Dragon 4v5 anyway, and then maybe they lose a fight there, but they still usually just win that game anyway. They are so bulletproof. I think Keen is the best player in the world. I think this guy is completely unstoppable on carries, on tanks, on everything. I feel like Canyon is completely back this year, and he's on fire, when last year people were talking about Canyon as like, oh, maybe Canyon's a little bit of weakness.
Nah, he's still the GOAT.
Weakness. But like GenG is just looking, I think, amazing. I think Chovy maybe is looking slightly less dominant than last year, but it's like their team is just absurdly good and super well rounded. So
trying to pick holes in GenG is always funny to me. It's like they're winning 20 something series in a row, barely dropping games, and then Canyon's getting flamed for it. I'm sitting there like, wow, you just can't win, can you? Oh, I mean, except for the games themselves. Yeah, they can win the games, but maybe not the.
They went 20-2 in the LCK Cup. That was their game score. So they dropped 2 total games. So there's not a lot to pick at.
Yeah, I mean, a team being that dominant for that long, and like you said, it's not Worlds. So their kryptonite is not here. So
their average goal difference was like plus 1,300, and they have like a 93% win rate when they're up at 15 minutes and stuff. So I mean, all of their stats are obviously gonna be insane because they never lost. Yeah. But they are extremely dominant and really, really versatile.
Yeah, I mean they're all just playing well individually, and then you also just have plays where like enemy team is already set up on Dragon, and then Canyon decides, you know what, I'm just gonna walk over there, smite it, and get out also and like live. And there's so many times where he just like goes up and he's like, they can just yoink objectives from you as well. Like, they can win those 4v5 team fights as well. Like, yeah, sometimes they lose them, but a lot of times they're gonna win these fights anyways, even with some disadvantages. So yeah.
Duro is the guy that has the least experience, but he's coming off of a really good international performance last year, right? So I have a lot of confidence in him to continue to do well. I think it's going to take an above and beyond performance from JDG to make it competitive. I think it's just going to be a really hard argument for anyone to not be predicting GenG as like the runaway favorites for this. I mean, the only argument people have even at Worlds is like, maybe they'll choke, but they never choke when it's not Worlds. They basically just chain win, right? They're dominating MSI. Obviously, they weren't at First Stand last year, but yeah, they are going to be the big dogs here for sure.
Cool. All right, the other group is the BLG, BFX, G2, and Team Circuit Wales group. And we can start with the BLG, BFX one since we're going from the LPL LCK matchup to the other side LPL LCK matchup. And BFX being here is so cool because people have been hyping up Diablo for a long time. And now we get to see Diablo go against a Viper. And Viper has fit right in on BLG. You know, he goes back to the LPL and then he just instantly just wins the LPL. BLG, of course, like the solo laners, obviously, are playing extremely well. Bin and Knight both playing extremely well. But big story, of course, Shin.
The return of Shin.
Of Shin. And there's like, I mean, the jungle thing is always so funny with BLG, but Shin is like right back in there himself, you know, stealing objectives, going for invades. I thought he played extremely well too. So.
What is the longest period of time that BLG has kept the same jungler for?
4 days.
Half of a Yeah, it is funny to see them just always have this revolving door. And from the outside, you know, you don't really know why they're doing it. Maybe they just can't figure out what works best for them. Maybe they just want to try different things, different strategies. Who really knows?
So Emily said that the players all, like during the revolving door days of last year of junglers, they all still like really wanted Shin back on the team.
Yeah.
And because Shin obviously is good, but also he's really good vibes to like play with. And so just it seems like this is the love that is meant to be this jungler, you know.
But why did they sub him out last year then? If he's good vibes and he knows the team, you know, what's the problem?
There were like
scrim results.
Well, also I thought there was some stuff,
Contract stuff too.
Yeah, some contract stuff, and I don't know, some weird.
But nothing that we have like official.
Yeah, don't have official stuff, and then I think there was like some stuff that was like kind of legal issues. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's an interview with Danny that Alk told me about where he's saying that he calls Shin a ray of sunshine, and like
you know, the vibes.
Yeah, exactly. These vibes, like players like him in review. It keeps him more lighthearted. He plays well. It is interesting, you know, having Viper on this team. That's obviously kind of like the big highlight move. But like Viper, I don't think was the best player on the team. I think he played well. You know, obviously he's one of the best AD carries ever. But it wasn't as though he went there and just dominated. Like they won the split. But I still think it was more about the solo lanes, was more about Knight and Bin. And I know Bin, I think, gave the interview where he's saying he's gonna, you know, beat up Keen, and he's really, really confident as always, which is hype. And I feel like Knight just runs the LPL. He's won the LPL 7 times now and made 12 finals. I think he's the LPL GOAT at this point, and he is obviously deserving of a ton of the credit. Is like completely in form. On is playing really, really well. So I think BLG to me and to most people is going to be the hope of beating GenG, or at least, you know, really getting competitive with GenG, because these players are at their peak. Like insane, right? You know, Bin, Knight, and Viper are your carries. Like that holds a lot of weight. If those guys are playing at their best, they can beat anyone. So that I think is kind of like the hype, the excitement. They did have a slower start in groups, and not that they were doing really bad or anything, but like they lost to AL, and who else did they lose to? Maybe they lost to JDG. I can't remember who the other series they lost to early was, but most people were thinking it was going to be AL that was actually going to be the number 1 seed, and AL didn't even end up qualifying at all. They didn't get to the top 2. You know, they lost a little bit earlier, got knocked down. So BLG, I think, being the number 1 seed was a bit of a surprise, but they were really, really good in playoffs, and I think they are going to be clearly a pretty big favorite against BFX, just because they have a ton of experience. BFX is like a lot more unknowns, right? It's like the kind of like potential team. It's so funny to me too that Vikla is their mid laner.
I was gonna say that, you know, that's every time I watch LCK, I see Vikla up there and I'm cheering for him. I'm like, yeah, that's
another
NA,
yes, that's another NA export, you know, just like Dignitas Core JJ going over to Samsung and winning worlds.
Yeah, it's funny hearing Atlas talk about the year of Vikla all the time too, because when we first sent him back, he didn't like immediately, oh my god, he's so good. Back in the LCK, right? He also was really really struggling.
It was not the year of Vikla.
It wasn't us, right? You know, like we gave back the same Vikla, right?
Yeah.
But then this year, he's been so much better compared to you know, last year's performance. So it's actually super cool.
Solo killing Chovy.
Yeah, exactly.
Solo killed Showmaker, I think, too.
Yeah, the Twisted Fate game was
Winning with
sick.
TF is, I think, the biggest accomplishment because like most people don't do that. Most people pick that champ and lose, but he's 2-0 on TF.
Yeah,
The go.
Wins.
I'll also say Raptors looking really good.
Raptors
for
insane.
a jungler. Like he's looking really good, really improved also. So I'm pretty hyped for this one because in the finals, I think this Bin deserved for LPL to get the finals MVP. But Shun has been really good, and he was like camping over and over and got him into a really good spot. And he has had a lot of good individual plays himself. So I think jungle matchup's gonna be pretty hyped for this one. Obviously, I already mentioned the bottom lane matchup. I think those are probably my two preferences for this series, and should be really fun. I mean, I was watching one of the Casual streams, and obviously he really likes LCK side, but he thinking that people are going to underestimate BFX. And
They don't have the name value if you only watch international.
yeah,
right?
and so he was thinking they were gonna beat BLG as well. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I think that's. I mean, I could see it, but I could also easily see them not doing well. Like these players don't have anywhere near the same level of experience as BLG. I do think they are a really good team. Again, to my understanding, these are the only two teams in LCK that didn't change their roster. Are the ones that are qualifying. They were not expected to be here at all, though. Right? This is a team that it was a huge upset when they beat T1, and people thought it was going to end there, and then they just they kept going. They were able to qualify all the way through. Obviously, they did take a game off GenG, but they got 3-1 and then 3-0 to my recollection in the two best of fives that they played against GenG. But Raptor, I think, really stands out. I think he is just insanely good. This guy is really, really smart in how he paths. He team fights incredibly well. His Pantheon is godlike. I think he is really, really impressive. It's also just cool, not only because Vikla with the NA FlyQuest connection, but LCK has basically had the same handful of mids completely running the region for a million years. Faker, Chovy, BDD, Showmaker, and Zeka are the only LCK mids who have made it international in I don't know how many years, but a lot of years. Those guys have just run the region for such a long time. So it is really abnormal to just see any team without one of those fixtures in the LCK make it international. So I think that's really cool for Vikla. Diablo is rightfully, I think, getting a lot of hype. This guy is mechanically insane. He plays hyper aggressive. He just loves flexing on people. I remember seeing some solo queue clips from him where he is spacing people and just making them look so silly, where he is just playing a champion that slightly outranges, and he's like legit 1v2ing. I can't even remember what it was. It was like Lucian, Alistar or something. He's playing Caitlyn. He's just like 1v2s him from full health. Just like the Lucian keeps stepping back to try to get a double tap. And every time he starts turning his character, he's already clicked back. So he's perfectly out of range the whole time. And just this guy is walking forward in the LCK in 1v2s, looking for outplays, sometimes to his detriment. Sometimes
flashing forward sometimes.
Yep.
Also, it's really fun to watch Kellen try and keep up with him. Yep. And he's like flashing forward and getting in there with the heal and Lulu and Mikhails and everything. And it's funny too, because like people, Kellen has been flamed as well by the community, but the Enchanter meta is looking really good, for him and for the team overall. And I think he does a good job, like keeping up. He's like, Diablo's gonna like hand check this guy. So like, I got everything here with like really good Mikhail's timings and knockups. And when you're talking about some of these like skirmishes and stuff that Diablo like hand checks people, the one that came to mind for me was the Yunara one where they're in the 2v2 and he's at like 150 health or something, but all of a sudden they miss like two of their spells. Yeah, he flashes in, he ult jumps in. It's like gets the Lulu combo on him, and he like barely squeaks it out. And they kill him both. And it's like, that's the kind of AD carry I like watching. You know, not like sit back and farming, blah blah blah. Yeah, and the cool thing is too, like even in when they just put him mid lane in the mid game, he'll be like hands checking you and like get more. Like it helps Raptor play a lot, I feel like, too, from jungler perspective, at least, because like they constantly have a lot of pressure.
They're chunked and stuff.
Where he's pushing from. So yeah, definitely super fun.
I mean, it's hype. I feel like the like flash dash in whatever and into the middle of people to get the wild growth is almost like a signature move now at this point for him. Yeah. And I will say he has some of the craziest cleanses that I've ever seen, where It always just blows my mind when someone gets hit by a CC and it's mid-fight while they are clearly like doing other things, not just, full sight out of a brush, not doing anything else. And his character just does not even like lose stride at all. It's like you can't even find where it hit. Like you're going through on like 0.25 and pausing it, and you like can't even see the frame where he CC'd. You're just like, what the hell? So he is a mechanical beast. I will say, I don't think that this team is just like completely bulletproof or anything like that. They're really strong. I think clear is pretty weak, and is a clear weakness as far as at least compared to like that level of talent. Not.
I mean, he's playing for his bin.
Exactly.
And Bin's in good form.
Exactly. Like when you're playing against Keen and Bin and these guys, it's a weakness, right? And I would also say Vikla, I do think he is very good, but I still feel like Vikla's a little mistake prone. I feel like he had his moments kind of similar to Hankyu, where he just is going for plays he does not have to go for, and going for kind of some silly moments where he gets into a bad spot, and then I think he's kind of like maybe trying to make up for it and just making more mistakes and chain dying. So I do think they have kind of some of those weaknesses, but I do think they are a really talented team and a really fun team, and I think they're going to make a lot of fans.
Yeah, I think both of the second seed LCK and the second seed LPL both are very fun, and will be challenging, even though we've got these headliners of number one seeds of BLG and GenG, of course, and everyone always thinks that these are going to be the two to win and to really push the tournament. I think we got some fun stuff ahead of us with the mix-up.
Yeah, I mean, BLG, they're like this recurring character for LPL in pretty much every international tournament, and I mean, obviously they're really good. They always make it to these tournaments, but they're a little inconsistent internationally. Obviously their soul laners are super good, but every once in a while they'll just not look good. Mm-hmm. And on their support,
on or off?
Yeah, I see off more often than not in a lot
he
of
had a really good split,
though. Yeah, he has been on.
Yeah, I
mean, clearly he's good. He's good. I would never sit here and say he's not good, but somehow in the games that I'm watching, it doesn't look like it all the time. So, maybe if BNK just is in good form. I don't think it's super one-sided, but I would still give it to BLG.
Yeah. I guess if BLG was going to lose, they have lost some late games where they were super far ahead, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not one of those teams where you always feel really secure that they're going to end it out when they have one of these big early leads that they're very good at getting.
Yeah.
So that's probably your angle.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I could see, a VFX when they're at their very best. You could see them, winning a team fight. Like you watch Diablo enough, and you could believe he could win any team fight, right? Like this guy is very, very talented. But I do think BLG are favored personally. G2 versus Team Secret Wales is the last matchup. I think this is going to be really interesting. Huge underdogs from the LEC, the 7th seed, the improbable run.
That was so funny watching
it all the way.
Watching the LEC playoffs or something. You just the 7 seed tag there during the whole time.
Versus 1, the monster upset.
Oh my god!
But it's really, really fun. G2 started out a little bit slow, but they still obviously were always going to be one of the favorites based on just the fact that this team literally runs that region.
Yeah, they got Caps, bro. Holy moly!
Caps has won 16 championships now, and I think they said this was 10th finals in a row.
Have you
in a row?
10 finals in a row, I believe.
What?
And then you see the clutch.
How are they 7th seed?
Yeah. Well, they lost at the beginning in the best of ones.
Lost a couple games.
They
lost
a
couple best of ones.
Yeah, it was best of ones.
Yeah.
But holy moly, we always talk so much about Caps, but like players that can have that amount of pressure on them, the clutch factor that he showed in the must-win moments of these series, especially everyone's gonna pull up every replay of the Anivia one because that was crazy multiple times. But I just always value that so much when you're going to international tournaments. And so you can always kind of have some hope of like, G2 could for sure like do some crazy stuff and end up, top. They could be top 4, they can push for top 2 maybe. I think that in addition to Caps being very, very good and having a mega clutch factor.
He's super informed right now.
Yeah, and he's super informed. But like when the pressure is on and it's like, you must win or your team is going to lose, then that can shake a lot of even really good players. But he performs well in those. I was going to say one of the things that is different for me this time around is I'm on the Skumon train now. Yeah. I think Skumon is playing out of his mind right now. The Zehen game and multiple Jarvan games and the Aatrox game. I feel like
he's looking really good.
I'm on board with the
Skarner.
I'm on board with the
Skarner interview was cool.
It definitely was. The only last thing I was going to say was that they gave another interview. We've been watching so many VODs and so many interviews and stuff. They're all kind of blurring together. But they talked about how they have put Skewmond forward. Actually, I think Lore told us this. That G2 have like shifted. Broken Blade used to be like captain of the team, and now they're trying to put like Skewmond as captain of the team. And now it always seems good to me when you have your jungler kind of in that position because you have a lot of, especially early games there.
I mean, I think he's been stellar. I maybe I'm a bit of a hater. I don't know, but I know that I just am not that impressed by their bot lane. I do feel like that is always one of the concerns when you talk about, when I hear top 4, I hear top 2, I'm like, there are some crazy bot lanes too.
Never forgiven Hans for his time in North America, huh? At least that's how I feel.
I just think he's not, I don't think he's bad by any means, but when I'm talking about Viper, Diablo, and we're talking about Ruler, we're talking about the GOATs, I just have never seen him as a guy that takes over the game. I've always seen him as a guy that when your team is already winning, Hans will do a good job. And when your team is not winning, Hans will, just be there along for the ride as you slowly lose. That's kind of like the type of AD carry that I kind of always saw him as. And maybe that sounds more harsh than I mean it, but I think there's a lot of AD carries that are that type. Yeah. There are very few AD carries that are the difference maker, where they just have that feeling that they're going to do something to change the game, right? He never feels like that guy. And I don't think he has to be that guy against Team Secret Whales, but I do think you need everyone playing on that kind of a level if you want to be beating BLG and GenG and talking top 2, because those are the kind of teams you're going to have to beat if you want to get top 2.
I think the bottom, everybody is least scared of G2 bottom lane.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah. And I mean, especially when you go international, Labrov has had some shocking performances, I think, at times international. I do think at Worlds last year he had a better event, but he has had some really rough ones. But BB, I really like how they draft. I think it's really fun watching him in general. And I mean, I've been talking about this since the season was released, before any pro game started, that I think top lane can move into more heavy counter picks with Ignite, with combat summoners. It was cool that we got to see Dokla do it. He's brought out the Ignite Yasuo against Gwen. He brings out exciting counter picks. He's willing to play really, really aggressive. He's willing to play the Gwen and try to slam home some advantages with combat sums, which is cool. And it's also cool because he's going up against a guy who loves counter picks as well in Pun. And Pun has been kind of unleashed because he had always been like locked on tank duty pretty much.
Yeah, they got a new coach.
Yeah, they got a new coach, and I think it's Warhorse, right? Yeah, is coming in, and he's counterpicking with Volibear, and he is turbo slamming games on volley top. Like if you go Ambessa blind, there's a couple different ones that he brings out. It's like Ambessa, Renekton, and I think there was maybe something
He did
else.
one versus Cassante.
And Cassante.
So it's not, yeah.
So he's just
Ambessa versus volley is rough. That is not.
That Whippo was doing that over here also, but
he also plays Olaf. He brings out Gwen. He's played like Cho. He'll play Set. He's played all kinds of stuff. So he is willing to bring out these picks that he thinks are counters and really slam them home. So I think that is something really exciting about them that makes them kind of unique, because I think both these top laners are guys that are willing to do that and that have that confidence. So I think it's going to make it really fun from that perspective. And when you talk about Skewmond and Caps, I think those are the clear big strength right now of G2. Yeah. And for Team Secret Whales, Hizto and it's spelt Dire, but my understanding is it's D-Ray, because D is the first letter of his name, Raz said, and then Ray for Aurelia. Like RE is for like Aurelia was his favorite champ, so it is D-Ray. They are the clear engine of this team. Eddie and BA, I think, are kind of along for the ride. I think they are like a similar team to G2, at least how I see like the strengths and weaknesses of the team. Like who are the main carries, who are the kind of like X factors. I think it's similar in that way. I do favor G2, but D-Ray and Hizto are really good. This team is so active. When you watch some of their games, it's just like they're fighting perma. Like all lanes are fist fighting to the death by 4 minutes at times, and it's just like action everywhere. They seem to be really of one mind in how they want to play. I think Eddie is a bit crazy though, and sometimes can be a pretty dirty inter when they are ahead. To me, that's like a weakness that really stands out, is that I always link some games. And shout out to Molecule. He gave me some info on this team, who he knows PCS really, really well. But I was talking to some other people who linked me some games where they're like up to like 10K, and Eddie is just solo losing them a game. But they're very similar in how they play, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, his still is one of my favorite junglers, and he has some creative gank angles, and he's always going for action. I feel like he is the reason they get so many of these ginormous early game gold leads. So yeah, they're very bloody, and they get lots of really big early game gold leads. And especially it's successful if he does go mid lane and play around Dure.
All right, Azael, I got to ask you, would you rather have on your team the Hans Sama AD carry, probably not going to win or lose you the game, but probably not going to lose you the game most of the time, or the Eddie, who's going to be really aggressive, and when you're 10K gold up, you don't feel good?
I'd rather have Hans for sure. I mean, I always rather have Hans. Okay. If you're asking me Hans versus like Jackie Love or something, who might be doing a little bit inting, but is also going to maybe take over a game winning for you, then that's a different story. But definitely at this level, I'd for sure rather have Hans. Okay. But they are cool. They're a cool team. Molecule was saying that, even last year with all the Omega Hongq hype, that a lot of people were thinking that D-Ray was actually better than him in the PCS, not when they went international. But he was saying that the thing is kind of like interesting is that they're like a lot more strong. They're a lot stronger and stable than the version that we saw from them last year. But he was saying like, the big question everyone's going to ask is, are they of the level that CFO 2025 was? And he was like, regionally, yeah, they are that level. But he felt like when they went to international, Hongq and Doggo just played way better than they played regionally, and he doesn't expect that these guys will have that like crazy kind of glow up, because he was saying, from his point of view, CFO just was a way better team internationally than they were actually regionally, which is kind of one of those interesting things. Even though they were winning, the individuals just looked better. So I think they're not necessarily expected to be as weak as they were last time around. D-Ray at Worlds was like, to me, by far the worst mid laner in the tournament. He looked really, really rough. Yeah, but I know some people were saying that maybe it's like a draft thing and he has more flexibility because Pun's getting more flexibility with new coach. Yeah. D-Ray is apparently getting more flexibility with the new coach. But he looked horrible at Worlds last year, to my recollection.
That was the main thing that people told me, is that like he was being put on champs that he's not going to succeed on, Yeah. So it should look better this time around because they're embracing each player's strengths,
Yeah, which that matters, right? I always would rather a team go in and, yeah, you want to be the team that can play everything. Everyone wants to be GenG and be Keen, where you're perfect at every style. But guess what? Pretty much everyone but Keen is not. So it's one of those things where, not that you shouldn't try to expand your champ pool, but play to your strengths, right? Like I'd rather have someone play, vol top and set and all these things and play it like extremely well than have someone just getting pounded on Scion or whatever, right? Like allow players to play towards their strengths, even if it's not the perfect meta. I think often teams have more success just playing to their style than trying to just be basically a shitty version of GenG.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Sometimes, I think for a huge underdog like Team Secret Whales, I think even if they play their style, they might still lose. And then you'll have people saying, why are you playing this weird stuff? Just pick the normal champion. So it can be a little tough. I think if you're losing, you're just going to lose. But I do definitely like the, just stick to your strengths kind of thing. Because it really just comes down to what you play. And if you're playing off comfort because you're trying to conform to the meta, that usually doesn't look very good.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun event. It's going to be definitely a grind because I think it's the most packed schedule they've ever had for LoL esports. We've definitely had at Worlds before, to my recollection, 4 or 5 days in a row of like 8 BO1s or whatever. I think maybe 4 days in a row. This is going to be 6 straight days of double best of 5 every single day. So potential of up to 10 games a day, 6 to 10 games a day, 6 days in a row. Only the 7th day, the final day of the tournament, has a single series. That's going to be the best of 5 finals, obviously. So it is a ton of league, very packed in. And Kobe and I are flying out on Friday. So a couple days. It's Wednesday now as we're recording this. We're not going to be able to, unfortunately, do a dive while we're there. We couldn't get a setup to do it. But
we're gonna have some special social new content. Who knows what it's gonna be like? We're not gonna commit to anything right now but it'll be really good.
Yeah,
we're gonna do some. We'll try and get some videos and we're gonna send them directly to Medios, and then he's gonna.
Yeah. The Medios is going to publish.
Medios.
I got you.
He's going to edit it as well.
I got.
He's going to edit himself in there and be like, "All three of us in Brazil."
Yeah. So it should be fun. Definitely going to be a crazy trip though, because we go on Friday. I think we have one kind of like recovery day, but my understanding is it starts really early too, and they're 5 hours ahead. So it's going to be like the equivalent of we're getting up at like 3 or 4 in the morning our time or something like that to go to the studio. So I think it's going to be early mornings because I think it's early so that it works in Asia. I could be wrong on the call times, but anyway, it'll be a fun event. Hopefully we do well. Hopefully we have the bounce back against Loud. Also, before we call the episode, Medios, shout out, congratulations on the GAT team.
Thank you.
A new hire here at Rito.
Yeah, I did tweet it out last week, but this is my second week. So for those who haven't heard, I did join the gameplay analysis team at Riot, which is like, play testing, trying a lot of the new stuff, giving feedback, talking with designers, and it's been super fun. I've learned a lot already, even though I'm only on my second week right now, but it's been really fun. And also, Hai joined the team with me. So we've kind of been getting onboarded together. And we've been in a lot of play tests together.
When are Balls, Lamination, and Sneaky joining?
I don't know. I'm waiting for them. Yeah, but it's been a lot of fun. And I've been spending a lot of time doing that. So, yeah, hopefully can help improve the game.
Yeah. We're really happy for you. Congratulations. And also, the good news is, for now, at least the plan is for you to continue. The release timer shouldn't change. We're just going to be recording it at a different time, but shouldn't affect anything as far as we know. And that's the plan going forward. So we're really happy for you and happy that he'll be continuing on the dive. So don't worry. I'm sure you were all worried that you might be losing Medios, but not just yet.
Not yet. You're stuck with me for now.
Wait until he does something crazy.
We can't predict the future. But we won't try.
Or maybe Mark takes him out. I don't know.
You gotta watch out for that Mark guy. He was like showing up here early in the episode. I don't know about that.
He really
threatened.
He wants his spot back. I can tell.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for us here on The Dive, driven by Kia. Be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube so you don't miss an episode of The Dive. Also, leave a comment. Maybe, who knows? Who knows what we'll do for social? Maybe we'll answer some questions. If you have some questions, maybe we'll answer those. Sometimes people do that.
Maybe.
Make sure you tune in for First Stand. It starts on March 16th, 6 a.m. PST. BLG is going to be taking on BFX bright and early. And then on the 17th at 11 a.m., a much better time, you're going to have Lyon taking on Loud.
I can see your face looked pained when you said 6 a.m.
That's too early. Those aren't gamer hours.
Well, we're going to beat Loud, just so you know.
At 11 a.m.
We ain't going to lose.
And we're going to be asleep.
Not going to lose again.
Before that.
Nope.
Okay. See you there.